All right.
If
What's
you
the
like my thoughts in English, you should see my thoughts in German. Oh my God, I'm so smart in German. I hate that people don't know. You know Modern Family?
Yes.
Sofia Vergara is like,
Yes.
you even know how smart I am in Spanish. Because I grew very, very fast. So I was like, stretched.
When did you stop growing? At
15.
So you were this height at 15?
Yeah, I was. Do you remember Microsoft Paint?
Yes.
So it looked like if you put my picture in Paint and you just like dragged it and made it longer. When I was living in Hong Kong, I did a lot of very glamorous jobs. I did events and commercials, and I was wearing jewelry like worth more than all of my organs.
Yeah.
All of them. I also got like slapped with measurement tape when I gained more than 2 centimeters in 1 week. I used to get measured every week at my agency. Not this one, by the way, 开我很棒, but at another agency.
That's crazy.
And if you gain more than 1 or 2 centimeters in a week, you don't get your money for the week.
Welcome back to Fun Day Chat. I am Wade, and today we have another special guest with us. It is
Mia, hello.
Mia. All right, Mia, can you quickly, very briefly, just tell us who you are and share your little backstory?
Okay, I'm half Taiwanese and half Austrian, and I've lived in Taiwan for a couple of years. Oh my God, 5 years, 4 years.
Already? Has it been fun?
Time flies, yes.
Time flies.
And I'm very excited to be here. I'm a little scared. I don't know why, even though we hang out a lot and we talk a lot. So for some reason, like my hands are just
Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. And I'm going to teach the audience a technique, which we already know, but I don't know if people are aware. Typically, a lot of us get very nervous when it comes to doing work, when it comes to doing speeches. I know I was terrified when I used to have to give speeches on stage. And I wish I had known this technique. And so this technique essentially is what happens when people are nervous. They usually tell you to calm down, right? They're like, calm down, calm down. And it's sort of the opposite, because when you're on a high tense kind of frequency, it's hard to kind of like bring yourself down. So the idea is, and you know this already.
switch it for something positive.
Yeah. And so what would we say instead?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Oh!
Yes. So that actually really is sort of a switch and a trick in the
It
brain.
reframes it.
To reframe it, because it's both sort of like the high frequency, and I know that they say it doesn't necessarily work. It's not like 100%, like proof that you will definitely be excited or feel excited. But I think it does trick the brain, and it's a technique worth trying whenever when you're about to do something nervous or you are feeling nervous, to say I'm excited. I saw that has helped me, so I'm excited.
Lovely.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
So to start us off, I have an icebreaker question.
Okay, break it.
When you were a kid,
Oh no.
what did you want to be when you grew up?
2 things.
Okay.
I wanted to be a journalist.
Wow. Journalist.
I was always
Like a news reporter, or more like
writing.
Writing.
I always loved writing.
Okay.
And then when I was in high school, I was always tasked with writing for the school newspaper. So that was my thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
No,
great.
learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to tell you too much before, and I'm like, I want to see your genuine reaction. Not that it's that interesting anyway. But I was really, really into writing. Everything. Every time there was some sort of event at school, anything special going on, I was sent to observe and write an article about it, and it would be put on a school homepage and it would be printed out in the school newspaper.
That's
and
cool.
it was always like, I was just the go-to person for that. The
Yeah.
German because it was in German.
Yes.
The German teacher was like, all right, you go, you're up. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Just skip class sometimes and do
But
that.
honestly, it does make sense to me.
Does it?
Because I do
text a
feel
lot,
like,
don't I?
No. And I feel like you are very expressive, and you do have like great thoughts, and that's why
you.
I think more than just a pretty face, like you do have a lot of insights, and I think that's impressive, because probably you have, it's sort of a trained skill to have, so that makes sense.
Cool.
All right,
If
what's
you
the
like my thoughts in English, you should see my thoughts in German. Oh my God, I'm so smart
have
in
to learn
German. I
German.
hate that people don't know. You know Modern Family?
Yes.
Sofia Vergara is like,
Yes.
you even know how smart I am in Spanish. And I felt that.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, now my English is fine, but anyway, sorry.
That
What
makes
was your
total
question?
sense. But the second, you said you had two.
Yes,
One
I
is
wanted to be an
journalism.
actress.
But you fit that role.
I did?
I mean, I'm saying you fit the role. You could
Oh.
be an actress.
Yeah, and a joke I made for myself was like, oh yeah, I started doing social media a couple years ago, and I would put a lot of thoughts into my captions. I'm like, see,
Yes.
I am a writer and I am an actress. This is
have it
basically
all.
the same. I am basically indistinguishable from the New York Times.
Wow. So actually, when I was younger too, I also always wanted to be an actor. But I don't think I necessarily like try to pursue it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, I'd love to be an actor.
Why?
And I think mainly actually when I was young, it's more of a sort of just wanting the fame. So
Yes.
yeah, you know, like
Me
wanting
too.
the fame. And
Yeah.
but I say as I
Validation.
mature and as we grow, obviously I see that it's so much more work. I don't think it's just, you know, just having a good look, because
Yeah.
you can be pretty, but to act is a real talent. So honestly, hats off to the good actors out there.
Yes.
That's the reality of most things, right? The more you get to know it, the harder actually that it becomes. Because in a sense, like I think without really diving deep into something, you always look at it just on the surface and you're like, I could do that. And then when you actually get into it, you're like, wait a second, this takes so much more
Wait a minute.
practice, so much more.
Also,
in-depth
things that
insight.
feel good don't look good. Like the way you're sitting or moving. It's like, oh, that looks awkward. Like, but I'm really comfortable.
Right.
But I don't know. Also, I feel like it's less pressure to look pretty.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to care about looking good. I just want to portray something or convey an emotion
Right.
and not be caught up in like, is my nose pretty from this angle? Like, oh! I think that's also why I like acting, and I'm trying to do more of that because I'm tired of always being super aware of whether I'm pretty enough.
All
which
right.
is always the case. Like any commercial, if whether I'm eating something or drinking something, it has to be very demure, very
Yes.
mindful. And I don't wanna.
Are you? But you are demure and mindful.
I'm not. Have you seen me eat? When I'm enjoying my food. And I get it. It has to look good. But wouldn't it be nice to just for once see a commercial where someone is
Like
like genuinely like,
real
oh, you know?
Yeah.
Or the other way where it's you're purposefully doing it in a way that's kind of exaggerated and actually maybe that's what commercials need. Maybe I just don't understand. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of freedom in acting and being allowed to express the full spectrum of human emotions
Yeah.
without, especially in Asia, I feel like there's a lot of focus on being very put together and
Right.
each strand of hair, you know.
Yes.
Someone will come and be like,
Yeah.
and like make sure that it's fine, and people will just are like, oh, that looked awkward. I'm like, that was just me.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
maybe I'm awkward. So I really enjoy that part.
Good. All right. Take us through your basic modeling career timeline. Like, when did you actually start, and how did you get to where you are now?
How did I start? I was approached a few times in the street in different countries.
Well, where was this? Back in.
Once in Austria,
Europe?
once in Indonesia on
Okay.
a beach, once in
Just traveling?
Thailand, and once in Taiwan. Yes, just traveling.
Wow.
So people just. I was very, very skinny.
I mean, was
Yeah, but that was. I was so
even more
like
than
looking
now.
back because I grew very, very fast. So I was like stretched.
How? When did you stop growing? At
15.
so you were this height at 15?
Yeah, I was. There's a picture of me at 13.
That's scary.
There's a picture of me at
So tall.
11 or 13. Very young. Where I'm taller than my mom, and I just look like. Do you remember Microsoft Paint?
Yes.
So I looked like if you put my picture in Paint and you just like dragged it and made it longer, without adjusting
Yeah.
for width.
Wow. For
And-
proportion size, it's
Yeah,
just
my proportions were just like very alien,
wow.
and
I don't know if people can tell, but you are quite tall. You're almost
Yeah.
1.8, right? You're 178
centimeters. yes.
centimeters.
Sorry,
Wow.
I had a really good physics teacher, and he was like, units matter.
Yes.
So he's
For our
at the
viewers,
units,
to be
yes.
sure.
Hi Jeff, love you.
All right. So you were approached a few times, and then when did it actually become sort of like a viable thing? I mean, you said you wanted to be an actor. Did you ever consider being a model, or
No,
no? Okay.
I'm not really into fashion. I respect the art
Yes.
and like making things exist,
Yeah. The
creating
creative
shapes
side.
and textures and colors
Sure,
and
sure.
things. It's an art, and it's not something that I understand in terms of. I don't know.
its purpose.
I mean, art's purpose is just. Well,
This-
I don't know.
I mean, it's subjective and it's abstract, but
Some people have a passion for fashion. Oh, that rhymed. Have a passion for fashion, and I feel like I just did it because of the money.
okay.
Because when I started working at, I think my first real job was 12, 13.
Whoa.
My first
so
commercial.
young. Wow.
And I just made like my parents' salary in a day.
That's crazy.
And to
This
see.
is in Europe?
Yes, this was in Austria.
So I was like, I don't know. Do all models get paid so well?
No, I got really lucky because my first job was a commercial, it was a TV commercial, and they extended the contract as well. So I just got more money. Our background is quite,
humble beginnings.
Very humble, let's say
Yes,
that, which
yes.
is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Humble is good. And to see how much that affected my family. Like suddenly
Yeah.
we could do things that we couldn't
Wow.
do before. I think my mom bought a computer with that money. I don't remember. Something big happened.
Mm.
Or was it something else? But either way, I saw the relief it brought to my family. And I was like, more of that.
Wow.
I got to do more of that. So I tried.
Mhm.
Commercials are rare. It's hard to get them.
Yeah.
I just got really lucky the first time.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just went to the casting. For some reason, I got the job. I don't remember why. But it made me want to help out more. Because I just thought, that was relatively easy. You know, I just show up there and we film for a couple of hours. And I get to help out so much. So I just did it for that. I just wanted to keep making money. And I kind of just got stuck there. It was never like, I want to be a model. I want to do this.
Okay.
I just kept doing it and it just didn't stop.
It was a viable option.
Yeah, I kind of, to be honest, looking back, I don't know what I was thinking because at some point I was filming for a TV show in Austria and we were filming in Hong Kong. And then I got to work with an agency in Hong Kong and they just said, how about you just stay?
In Hong Kong?
And I just did. I packed just for a couple of weeks, but I ended up just
How old
deserting
were you
my
then?
life. I was 21, 22.
Wow. Okay.
Looking back, I have no idea. People ask me, what were you thinking? I have no idea. This girl and we don't know each other.
Yeah.
Looking back, a lot of times I think, who was that? It's like I was on autopilot.
So that job brought you to Hong Kong, and then they asked you to stay, and
Because
you
I
said
got a
yes.
lot of jobs. And I just said yes. And I don't know, like, weren't you scared? I'm
That's
like, I don't.
so brave.
I feel like I just took over someone else's brain and like, that's her pre-saved game. Okay, I guess I'm going to keep playing her life now.
Because so prior to coming to Hong Kong, what year would that have been? Like early 2020,
2015?
2015?
16?
So
Something like
prior to
that.
that, you were always in Austria or like just in Europe in general?
Yes. I was
Like
born and
growing
raised in
up.
Vienna, Austria. And I went to school. I went to college.
Wow.
And I was just modeling on the side a little bit because it
Okay.
was hard to make enough money to survive at that point.
Right.
And high fashion doesn't pay a whole lot. I remember one time I did this really prestigious fashion show and it was like 18 hours straight,
Wow.
which
That's crazy.
is not fun. I know a lot of people look at modeling thinking, how hard, you
Looks
just stand there, you just
glamorous.
show up.
Yeah.
And I get it, like the part, and I don't blame anyone for thinking that because that's what how would you know? Like, I don't know anything about your job because I
Right,
don't
right.
show up every day and look at everything that you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure everything has its difficult parts and maybe hopefully enjoyable parts as well.
Right.
And modeling, the part that you see is the easy part, but the preparation is the one that's really difficult. The
Right.
constant rejection, the constant constant criticism of your
Yeah.
of the way you look, the way
Right.
you move,
Right,
your
right, right.
weight, your skin, your teeth, everything about you, and being humiliated and degraded in front of people, and like there's so many horrible. To be honest, you know how much money I save by boycotting all the brands that have mistreated people that I know or me. I'm not gonna
Wow.
name them, but like I save a lot of money.
Wow.
Just being like, nope, you were mean to this one girl I work with. No, there was one show where we had a fitting, we had a casting fitting. So everything was tried on beforehand. And then on the day of, right before the show, we were already dressed. And one guy came in and was like, you switch. Your legs are so ugly, we cannot possibly show them. And the girl was 15. So these are the parts that do a lot of damage and
That's crazy, yeah.
they're very heavy and very difficult. And I understand that people don't get at it at a time.
Listening to all of this, obviously you get a sense that like you guys really have to be so vulnerable, because I think most people, again, we see the glamour and we recognize that like, oh, you guys get to be in these spaces that with famous or fashion designers or people, and you get to be glammed up and you look nice, and the photos and the videos and all of these things. But again, sort of like going back to when we were talking about, you know, what it would take to be an actor, we don't know the behind the scenes. And that actually there's so much prep, there's so much work. And I think, again, with the whole modeling side, the rejection, I think, is something that probably most people don't realize, right? As pretty as, you know, you can be, somebody is going to find fault with something.
Oh, yeah, all
and
the
you're
time.
going to be, and you have to be able to take that. So I think you guys have to really have a thick skin, which is crazy.
It is. And it's also physically exhausting, actually, because you run from one place to another. Nowadays, maybe it's different, but back in the day, you had to bring your book, which is like an actual, like an atlas. It's so big and heavy. It's
Your,
like
like, your
A5.
portfolio type
no,
thing?
A5
No?
is smaller. I mean, A3.
A3, yeah.
Sorry. And yes, your portfolio, exactly. And you
Wow.
bring one or two pairs of high heels and you wear certain clothing, and then, you know, you go from, you use the metro because you're broke. Most models are actually broke. You see the 5 supermodels that made it. But, you know, like in every profession, you have a few stars that make it, you have a few top lawyers, but most people are just surviving. And you run from casting to casting, you're like sweating, you're all over the place. This is so bizarre because models, like when I was living in Hong Kong, I did a lot of very glamorous jobs. I did events and commercials, and I was wearing jewelry like worth more than all of my organs. All of them.
That says a lot.
Yes.
Because organs are expensive.
Or actually, I don't know the going price right now, but sorry, that's very dark. But entire apartments or buildings. So, and that would be draped around my neck to the point where if I had to use the bathroom, like security would escort me, or they would take it off of me before that, so I wouldn't do a little switcheroo.
Heist.
But then, and then we walk around these like fancy events, and for all these rich people, like, you know, we show off the jewelry and.
You show off your nails.
Don't you? Now. Oh, thank you. I did my nails for today. I wanted the chance to show it off. And making these people want to buy it, just selling them the idea of it. While at the same time, most of the models, if not all of us, are so broke at that point that we cannot even think about this. And after all these events, we take it off. We're not allowed to leave the room until they have checked each piece. Everything is fine. Everything has been returned. Then we're allowed to leave. Like, no one leaves the room before that because you might have to search us. Never happened, by the way. I don't think anyone actually does it. But, you know, you still clearly have to do it. And then we go home into our little shoebox model apartments where, like, 5-6 girls share one toilet. And it's, like, the cheapest. Like, you couldn't find anything cheaper if you tried. And it's fine. Like, I'm fine with that kind of lifestyle. It's just the like if you could see how we live from that, like from that little princess glamour world to like putting on our H&M and Uniqlo stuff again, Shein probably, not that I'm pushing that, and going back home to that place and then hovering over our tiny sink one by one, waiting our turn. It's really funny. It's really interesting.
Let me get back to your timeline. Basically, you came to Asia, and the first one was coming to Hong Kong. Now, because you're also half Taiwanese.
I am,
Did you come back and forth or travel to Taiwan prior to?
I did. Okay. Yes, I always had a few jobs in Taiwan. I would just go back and forth wherever there were jobs. And I started to get to know Taiwanese culture a bit more on those trips. I always thought I was really Taiwanese because growing up in Austria, I felt extremely Asian. Like, that was how people would describe me if they didn't know my name. Like, oh, that girl, that tall Asian girl.
Tall Asian girl?
Yes.
Which I don't think anybody would look at you and say, you're the tall Asian girl here in Taiwan.
Think I'm short?
They will definitely say you're the tall, but I don't think they would say you're the Asian girl.
Yeah, I was always the Asian girl. Like, random strangers would approach me on the street and say, oh, ching chong ching chong ching. And they would do the thing with the hand fingers and make So I was like, wow, I'm extremely Asian. This is my thing. I'm Asian. And then I come here and it's like, oh, Wai.
That's crazy. And so that's
small identity crisis.
Yeah, identity crisis, which actually we're going to have a next episode that we're going to talk about. More on this topic. But first, to come back, I guess like when you came back to Taiwan and started living here, and it's been a couple of years, and obviously you have work here as well, and I guess you still get jobs all over. What would you say is your experience in sort of seeing the Taiwanese standards of beauty? Because personally, for me, I know growing up here, as a guy, maybe it's not as obvious, but I know for a girl, things are sometimes a little hard because I do have a younger sister, and I remember there's some sort of pressure that she would feel every time she would come back to Taiwan, and I couldn't understand it. I would be so excited to come back for the good food, the family, seeing people, and people always complimenting you because, again, I don't know, like being here and being mixed, or they're like, oh, how 帅, or how whatever. So I was always excited to come back. But it wasn't necessarily the same experience for my sister. She felt some sort of pressure, and I didn't understand it until I grew up a little more and came back, in more recent years. So from a girl's perspective, did you experience the same thing? Like, what do you feel?
Yeah, personally, not that much because I always was quite skinny.
Okay.
That's just how my body naturally wants to be. But I did have a lot of friends, especially in college, that were Taiwanese, and every time before they returned, they were like, oh, I can't eat this. Oh my God, they're gonna give me so much crap for this, for gaining weight. And I looked at them and you are perfectly fine. What are you talking about? I'm
Right.
probably invalidating them a bit. Like, but I was trying to be nice, but that was wrong. And I couldn't understand why they were so freaked out. And then I realized that in Taiwan, people have a tendency to point out everything that they see. And they
Yes.
ask you why, which is such a weird thing to do.
Into your
They don't say,
face.
hey, you gained weight. They will say, why did you gain weight?
对啊，最近怎么？
It's
最近好像
怎么
变胖
长痘痘? And they will point at you like right in your face like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, why would you? And they mean well. I understand. It's a
Yes.
cultural thing.
It's cultural.
So this is something I'm still struggling with because my brain knows it, but my heart doesn't feel it yet. I know how you mean it. I know you mean well. I know this is how you make conversation, how you make small talk. You're trying to be. I'm like, I'm just trying to help you. I can't be honest. You want me to lie to you?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
those are not the only two options.
Right.
And I think so. A rule that I stick with is don't point out anything that a person cannot fix within 5 minutes.
Ooh,
So I'll be like,
that's good.
oh, your shoelaces are loose, or something is, you know, oh, you got this one hair out of place. That's it. But if I tell you, you don't. You look great.
Okay, thank you.
But if you have a pimple
Yeah.
and I point it out to you,
What can I do?
did you probably already know? First of all, probably yes.
Yeah,
You're
you
aware of
would.
it.
Yeah.
Now, and you're probably telling yourself like, it's fine. No one can see it. It's like, I can see it. By the way, you don't have any pimples. That's why I feel comfortable saying this right now. I do actually. It's under my bangs. That's why.
You got a pimple.
I do. You want to know why? Anyway, so and after you point it out, you're like hyper aware of it, or maybe that's me. Maybe Taiwanese people don't have that, but you're hyper aware of it, and then you would go through the rest of your day being like, well, it's right there, and apparently people can see it. Everyone can see it. Everyone can see it,
Yeah.
and it's like bouncing in my head. And maybe that's my own insecurity,
Mm-hmm.
but it certainly doesn't feel necessary. Like you know those rules. Like before you say something, ask yourself: is it necessary? Is it
Right.
kind? Is it
Yes.
helpful? Is it true?
Yes.
And I'm like,
That's a great way to kind of determine whether or not to say what you're going to say.
why are your teeth crooked? Why are these things? Your teeth look great,
I know. Every time you
Again,
say something,
only-
I'm like,
but these are things you
understand.
cannot fix
Yes.
quickly.
Yes.
And it just kind of puts it into the room.
yeah.
And so, especially modeling, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
最近怎么 you ask these questions. I think colorism is still a big problem as well.
Yes, I
oh my
wanted to
gosh.
ask you about that because when it comes to color, we both go on to the same show, and I know that typically when I do go, sometimes if I've been outdoors because I love the outdoors, then they would be like, oh,
怎么晒那么黑啊？
怎么晒那么黑? And I know even maybe more for girls too. Guys, maybe it's still sort of acceptable. But I know for girls, it's like, oh, 太黑了，你还是不要去晒哦. And I'm like, why? Like for us, especially coming from the Western perspective, I mean, nowadays, a lot of people, they want that tan look. People are accepting that you come in all shapes and colors and you can just be healthy. Be healthy
Just
is the most
exist.
important thing.
I mean, I'm a big proponent of sunscreen. I know you're not. We're going to work on that. But absolutely. And there was a connotation that felt dirty.
Yes.
Like literally I had people tell me, you look dirty. Little girl, I was very young at the time and I got a tan because I like playing outside and I'm
Yeah.
a child and like, why should I be super aware of my skin tone? Like, beyond the point of concern for skin cancer or hyperpigmentation or anything like this that's like medical.
Yes.
But people would tell me like, oh, little girls shouldn't get a tan.
'Cause it looks
小女孩看起来脏脏的.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's an issue I have. Like, I don't want to criticize it just from the outside coming in. I feel like referring to things as dirty happens a lot in Mandarin.
Yeah, the cultural context is
And
a little bit
feel-
different.
like, especially, I don't know if it's a good talk about it, but like periods.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's something so natural and
got
things
you.
happen. And as a kid, I got it at 11. I was very young.
Wow.
And it was imbued with a lot of shame
Right.
around it. And I'm still undoing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel that is very different here. And
Yeah.
I think it's changing though. I see plus size models.
Yes, yes, yes.
I see
Well,
models of all colors. I
that's
see
sort of-
TV presenters that are really tan.
Yeah, which I think, the diversity that now you're bringing this up is coming
Yes.
in and it's becoming more sort of like part of our culture.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, did you have any thoughts sort of on plus size models? Because I know
Yes.
there's been a big debate probably back in the States where, the movement sort of started, which tends to then go over to the rest of the world. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think?
I think it's great that more people are being included.
Yeah.
And I think a term that I recently saw that I really like is body neutrality instead of body positivity or
Okay.
like including it.
Yes. So neutrality being that you don't have any feeling towards it, or what's
You do, but you just kind of respect your body for existing and
Okay.
carrying you through your life, and not
Okay.
ascribing value to it, not negative or positive. Like, oh,
Okay.
I should, like, because I think that's a much healthier way to look at it, because I certainly have, you know, thought about my weight a lot. I recently actually saw a reel that said, ever since I was like 12 or 13, there hasn't been a day where I didn't feel like I should be skinnier.
Wow.
And that's actually true. That's true kind of for me as well. Even though I also got criticized a lot for being skinny, made fun of, which wasn't fun either. And that's why I don't like either one or the other. I also got like slapped with a measurement tape when I gained more than 2 centimeters in 1 week. I used to get measured every week at my agency. Not this one, by the way, 开我很棒, but at another agency.
That's crazy.
And if you gain more than 1 or 2 centimeters in a week, you don't get your money for the week.
Wow.
Yes,
That's some
and
hardcore.
and the thing is, the skinnier you are, the more it shows. Like I could chuck this right now, and
Yeah.
it would show. Whereas if you are bigger and you eat a whole pizza, like if you
True,
eat a
I
whole
got you,
pizza,
yeah.
you'd be like, oh, I have a food baby.
Right.
So the less you have, the more apparent it is. The more it's like
Yes.
bulging.
Becomes more obvious. Yeah.
Yes. And
Wow.
so I would just run to the agency Monday morning, first thing, before even drinking water. I wouldn't even brush my teeth. I just like go straight there, get my measurements. And then sometimes when I didn't make it, like they would slap me with the measurement tape.
What?
So it's really weird when some people are just really, everyone has something to say about your body, and there's a lot of focus on it. And I don't think that's, and ascribing value with like, oh my God, you look so great, you're so skinny. Or, oh my God, you look sickly, clearly you're unhealthy, you're a bad role model for children. Like
Yeah.
you should just be ashamed of yourself. Like
Right.
all of these at the same time, it's like, whoa, what am I?
Yeah.
That's why personally, I think body neutrality has been something that I've thought about a lot. I've seen it in online space, on TikTok a lot. And I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
So I think we should just respect our bodies and be grateful for it. Like mechanically what it's doing,
Yes.
being alive, carrying us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, actually, I think I mentioned to you a few days ago, there was a time when I lost so much weight because I had surgery,
Yeah. Right.
wisdom tooth. And it was so painful, and I had stitches,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really eat. First of all, I was not hungry because I was in pain. Everything hurt. Food would get stuck in the stitches, and it's like
Yeah.
vile. The
Okay.
smell.
Okay. We don't want to talk about the smell.
Yes, mint. So I was surviving on painkillers and mashed potatoes, and I lost so much weight. And at my height, my weight starting with a 4
That's
was like
crazy.
really, really crazy.
Yeah, that's-
But I got so many compliments during that time. I got so many big jobs. Like I
Wow.
remember I was at a casting, and as I was walking away, I heard them whisper to each. I guess they thought I couldn't hear, but they were like, "She's stunning. She should be Miss Universe."
Wow.
That was many, many years ago, and I'm like, I feel so
So
miserable. I
unhealthy
feel like
and
on the brink
pain.
of death. I'm exaggerating, but I was in a lot of pain.
I got you.
I was still bleeding. I could taste my own blood in my mouth, and I was so unhealthy
Yeah.
and weak. And my stomach was angry from all the painkillers, because painkillers are apparently really bad for your gut microbiome
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And that was rewarded.
Yeah.
And I had an incentive, financial
right.
incentive to keep my weight. And I tried for a little
Yeah.
bit. And I didn't go through, I don't think I had like an actual eating disorder or anything, but it sits in your brain and you
Right.
think about it a lot.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, actually, I think I lacked maybe the discipline to go through with anything. And also I'm a very intuitive eater.
Okay.
So I found it hard to deny myself things that I need, things
Right.
that my body craves.
Okay.
But I definitely thought like, oh man, if I could just keep
Yeah.
my weight at,
Then you can
starting
get
with
more
a
jobs,
4.
You can get, wow.
yes. And also being a model, I liken it to renting your own body. Like you would rent an
Renting.
apartment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you see my nails today, I did it
Yes.
just for you.
Very pretty.
Hope you're lucky. But like I have to work tomorrow. And if I got these done, like actually done,
Yeah.
I would have to, it would take
What do you mean
3
actually
hours.
done? Aren't
Oh,
they
like at a
actually
salon.
done?
No, these are
Oh.
like stick on. I glued them on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I got them actually done, it would cost a lot of money.
And then you'd have to
it takes
remove
3
it?
hours. Removing it also costs money sometimes, depending on the salon, and also takes time. So if I had a job, I would basically spend 5 hours and 1,000 Taiwan dollars.
Just for
and
the nails.
Just for a few hours of having them. And you're always, as a model, you're always supposed to show up as neutral as possible. No eyelash extensions, no permanent makeup.
Wow.
Nothing. You
And then
can't change.
they do whatever they
Yes,
want.
you can. So it's like when you're renting an apartment, you can drill any holes.
Yeah.
Without asking
that's
your
a good
landlord, you cannot
analogy.
repaint anything.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
maybe you can
Nothing
change the
permanent,
doorknob.
but-
Nothing permanent, but I felt like never felt ownership over my body. It's like, it's yours, and I just execute what you want me to execute.
Yeah.
I want to cut my bangs, I gotta ask for permission first.
That's
I want to
right.
diet, I want to change anything.
Mhm.
No, you can't, because you just had a casting, and a client might choose, and he saw you like this, so you cannot change. But the thing is, you always have a casting, and you always have other castings. So you're in this
Man,
cycle.
So you have like so many hats where you gotta like switch out.
I mean, this is one of the silly bits. It sounds very privileged, and it's not like a real issue. But I think maybe it's difficult to envision yourself not feeling like you own your body, like you don't get to decide.
Right.
And it might just be, I always say, when I retire, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get SpongeBob nails, like really, like a real manicure and really fun, and like I get to decide, and I'm gonna dye my hair. I'm going to, I don't know, I get a piercing. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but like
gonna go crazy.
It's like, well, finally paying a mortgage for your house.
Yeah, like I own it now.
I get to do that. I wonder what that's like. So it's really. It's a weird place to exist in.
Yeah, so I think like in terms of that, it's, you know, hearing it firsthand from your own experience, and I'm sure for many other models or maybe just women in general, it's really sad to see that, you know, how the world assigns certain beauty standards, and then girls from a young age try to live according to that standard.
And then I perpetuate it, you know, like I feel like I'm part of the problem.
No, but I understand what you mean. But like, I think in your, at least like from your perspective, I can see that you recognize the problem, which most people don't see it as a problem. They see it as that's the way to make it in the world. And so maybe as we finish off, like, what do you feel like would be maybe some advice you would give to maybe young aspiring models or even just girls in general?
If you're passionate about, I think modeling is great for meeting people. I get to travel around the world. Every day is like a new office.
Yes, sorry. Before you even, tell us maybe some of the good things. I feel like.
Do we have time? I feel like I talked too much already. I'm sorry.
I feel like we've just been saying maybe all the negative side of modeling, but like, I'm sure there's the upside too, right? Tell us a little bit.
I met Natalie. That's a good upside. And then I met you.
Different friends. Yeah.
Yes. So every day is like a completely. You get to see the world,
I'm sure, right? Going to different places.
Kind of. You have to want to, because you could also just be locked up and holed up in your hotel and just go from set, hotel, set, restaurant, home. Mm-hmm. But like I always try to make time to do a little exploring, but that's just my personality. My mom was a very hippie, backpacker type of person. So that's always been my style. But yeah, for sure, you can do a lot of things like this. You meet amazing new people, sometimes maybe not so amazing. There's a lot of... how do you say that? Inappropriate people as well, but I guess that's in every industry.
Yeah.
And you gotta look out for yourself. And for people who want to do that, just be very sure of who you are, and because otherwise other people are gonna tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm still undoing a lot of that damage because I didn't know. It's like, I'll do whatever gets me not in trouble. Like whatever you want, I'll just completely mold to whatever you need me to be. I have no personality of my own. I'll just completely fuse with you. But if you're sure of who you are and you set clear boundaries, you're like, I will not be pushed beyond a certain point. I will not be taken advantage of.
Yes.
And I'm willing to walk away from opportunities and money and to draw a hard line and to be very, very sure of yourself and confident in your body, because it's a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
If you take it too hard, which I'm still working, I read comments like this, like... I literally told, wait, can you read the comments for me and just give me any feedback, because I can't do it myself.
Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of comments that we've seen, at least most of them are positive, so that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to all the audience.
That's lovely. Yeah. I think there's a lot of good in it, in terms of exploring the world and getting to live a crazy life.
And it's very insightful to hear all these things, because personally, I'm no model, so I don't know all of these. You know, I've done like amateur stuff, but I do have friends and, you know, that are in the space. And even just hearing the insight is absolutely crazy, because I don't think I can subject myself to being constantly judged, to being, criticized. Because I think, again, all of us as human beings, we go through processes where we have to figure out who we are. Yeah. We have to establish our own boundaries. But you guys then put yourself in a space where people are judging you, not for who you are on the inside, but your exterior. And that is pretty crazy, because I think any single person being told, like we mentioned earlier, hey, something's wrong with you here. Like, oh, why are you at this, like this, like this? We take that to heart. Like, it's human nature. So I think it's very commendable for all the models out there that's able to kind of like have that thick skin and still come out of it being somewhat decent, because it's so easy to just be like mean girls, right?
I think some people just grow thick. What do you call? They get calluses,
yeah.
and I understand it as a coping mechanism. It's just trying to protect yourself.
Right.
It's so degrading sometimes, like right in front of other people, putting each
Yeah.
other down,
Yeah.
and I feel like you just take someone aside, like, hey, this, you did go to the casting having
Right.
that hair color, and you cannot just go changing it like this, or
Right, right.
you were a certain weight, and that was how you were booked. It's like.
Yes.
You show up one way for a job interview, because that's what modeling is. You
Yeah.
have like 10 job interviews in one day.
Right.
And
That's
then
crazy.
each might get you a job that will make you survive for another month.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's always that like, oh, you're in a state of like, I gotta live. And most models are from like
Yeah.
rural places in Russia. A lot of my former roommates,
Mhm.
and they're all trying to help their families survive. They're all like,
Right.
they need this.
Yes.
I forgot my point, but anyway. Oh yeah, I think there should be more kindness. Like, how hard is it to not yell at a teenage girl, or even like
Yeah.
not like a grown up?
Yeah.
How hard is
yeah.
it not to degrade them
Yeah.
and make them small and feel really big? And I feel like there is a bit more kindness now with social media, because people get exposed more,
Yes.
but not nearly enough
Right.
yet.
Yeah. Well, so to all of you young aspiring models, or just in girls in general, I hope that this was at least somewhat insightful, so you can have an idea of what it actually might take. Because I think, again, not knowing all of these information, it's so easy to just be like, I want that glamour, I want that photo, I want that life, but it's so much more that needs to go into it. And so
Yeah.
really be sure about yourself, like Mia has shared. And I think it's beautiful in society that we are slowly starting to find beauty in more than just the aesthetics.
Yes.
So that in itself is a culture moving towards the same direction. So I would just encourage all of our viewers and people all around to show each other more grace and compassion. And that
Love
way,
that.
we can continue to grow together. So thank you for joining us on this episode. Now we have one more episode with Mia. The next episode, we're going to be talking about the double blood princess.
Wait, you actually used that? Oh my goodness.
And the reason why is because Mia is half Austrian, half Taiwanese. And so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.